Good evening, everyone. If you don't know, you should know. My name is Rameez Khan, and I am a filmmaker and a film critic. And today we are watching Terrence Malick's latest DVR taping of the Discovery Channel, Knight of Cups.
Find your way from darkness to light. Remember.
Alright, I guess I'm being a bit too harsh, but let's be honest, his last film with Ben Affleck and the one before that, called The Tree of Life, are really personal films. They're really David Lynchian films, late David Lynch films, where he's only making the film for himself. That's all the film is about. This is just as abstract as The Tree of Life, even more so in my opinion. He doesn't even wait to let the weirdness begin. Literally, the first minute, the second shot of the film is a satellite shot of Earth with some aurora borealis happening at the edge of the Earth. Preceded by that shot is Christian Bale walking aimlessly on the beach with his one expression he's going to carry throughout the whole film, and you know what this film's going to be about right then and there. A pretentious, existential, artsy-fartsy film. As I said before, Christian Bale has one expression throughout this film: confused. He plays a filmmaker of some sorts. I don't know, we're never told. It's alluded to because of the people he hangs out with and the places he visits. I believe he's a writer in this film, however. I don't even remember his name in this film. Most of his dialogue is told to us through voiceover. The script is kinda interesting, not because of the dialogue or anything, but in the way it's broken down and told. It's told in 8 parts, and each part of the film represents a new entry of a new character. That character is related to Christian Bale somehow. It involves an old fling with Cate Blanchett, his new love with Natalie Portman, a beautiful model in Freida Pinto, and Antonio Banderas as Antonio Banderas. It never gets overbearing. You know why? Because Christian Bale's character has no character, so watching these new people come in with some personality makes it rather interesting. That's about it. The cinematography is done by the man who completed a hat trick when it comes to winning Oscars in cinematography, Emmanuel Lubezki, who recently won for The Revenant. It's mostly handheld work over here, and the film looks really voyeuristic. It's kind of cool because the camera itself is almost a character. The way it just lingers around people, it tells you that the camera is not interested in getting good shots, but it still gets really, really good shots. An observation I made was that during the day, the cinematography, in cahoots with the color correction team, made all the daylight scenes look really desaturated, and the nighttime scenes were really appealing because they had plethora of colors going on, and it looked appealing to look at. I don't know how this factors into the film, but that's just an observation. 90% of this film is literally Christian Bale walking and entering into the frame. Very similar stuff was done in The Revenant, where the camera's just moving along a landscape and it waits for characters to enter. It gives the world a bigger presence. Stuff like that is done over here as well. But what boggles my mind is how something like this gets greenlit. It's that one culture of filmmaking I really hate, along with the commercial BS which is ruled by Adam Sandler and the Transformers movies, is that once a director makes a couple of masterpieces such as Badlands, The Thin Red Line, these actors will sign on just knowing, oh hey, it's a Terrence Malick film, without reading the script. I mean, why do that? But what was this film about? To me, I got that it was about disconnect and a person who is lost in his life. There's so many other films which have told that same story in much more entertaining and interesting ways. Batman Begins comes to mind, Rango, Lost in Translation. Those are just off the top of my head, but why would you choose to tell a story in this way, with no dialogue and just a person walking with a drooping look on his face? It's mind-boggling. Again, that's the key word of this film, mind-boggling. All of those films are more interesting, not because they're better films, but because they have context when it comes to character development. We know what these characters do, we know what these characters feel. We have none of that in Knight of Cups, as most of the character development in this film is done through voiceover. Now, I'm not one of those people who keeps on bitching and moaning about telling your film visually. You can tell your film with tons of dialogue, and you can have your characters talk about inner feelings. Look at what Michael Mann does in Heat and almost all of his films, Collateral, Thief, and those are all really good movies that tackle the same theme almost of Knight of Cups. This film should have been an audiobook, as it has a great soundtrack, really top-notch voiceover when it comes to recording quality, and there's some half-decent dialogue when it comes to the voiceover dialogue. This is garbage. It is somewhat comprehensible, and it almost looks like a commercial given the great cinematography and all the pretty people involved. I just don't know what this commercial is selling. This is also an absolutely pretentious film as well, given the way it's told and its overuse of big words and just the fact that it's weird for the sake of weird. And don't get me wrong, I like my weird movies. Eraserhead, The Discreet Charm of the Bourgeois, The Secret Object of Desire, I believe it's a Louis Buñuel film, Belle de Jour, Scanners by David Cronenberg, all weird films, but those films work because they adhere to actual character development. They have character. Knight of Cups has none of that. Do yourself a favor, watch this film if you want to go to sleep, as it has an absolutely great and soothing soundtrack, which goes really well with the line delivery of all the actors and actresses involved in this film. But if you're looking for a coherent film with actual character and 3-act structure and interesting things happening in the film, I'm afraid to say, you just got Malicked. That means you got robbed. This whole film reminds me of that one character from that really underrated film called While We're Young, starring Ben Stiller and Adam Driver. The Adam Driver character is this film student or weirdo or hipster who is so weird, and Knight of Cups looks like a film that that character would make. Could be said that this film is about Terrence Malick's own life, given that the main character is a filmmaker and has a relatively low profile, kind of like Terrence Malick himself. Apart from its cinematography and musical score, this film is utterly empty. You will not get anything out of it, apart from pain in your eyes, because you will be rolling them a lot. And let's be honest, what is this film really about? A great YouTube comment I read on the trailer said, "White people problems." This is White People Problems, directed by Terrence Malick. 1 out of 5 for Knight of Cups. Oh my god, guys. Oh my god, look who it is. It's frigging Terrence Malick. And that's not my bad editing, that's the real Terrence Malick. What are you doing here, Mr. Malick? I don't even have a background, so it means a lot that you visited me. You know what, let me ask you a question. Is that your camera? Is that what you film all your movies with? Oh, okay, you know what, can I see that? I'm gonna keep this, Mr. Malick. People, I have Terrence Malick's camera. He will not be bothering you anymore. My name is Ramiz Khan. I am a filmmaker and a film critic who has stopped Terrence Malick. You should be thanking me. I will be seeing you again. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. And I will be seeing you again very soon. Until then, remember to love yourselves. Thank you.